everybody this weekend is going to be looking at 12:01 a.m. and 12:01 a.m. Monday. So just, right after midnight, when the days cross over, is when Letitia James could begin to seize assets of President Trump and the Trump organization. President Trump did not deliver what was close to almost $500 million. I think it was $454 million just to Letitia James, but when you put all the full totals together, it was getting closer to $500 million. So she is in the process right now of identifying the buildings she wants to take over immediately, Logan.
Yep.
Those buildings right now, she has listed them, is first off is in Westchester County, a Trump Golf Resort and private estate that's called Seven Springs, and that she's taken the first step in seizing that asset in New York. She's also looked at the famous Trump 40 Wall Street and Trump Tower next. Now that goes on to a second story, Logan, where Truth Social has, it appears, been purchased. Tell people about the Truth Social move.
Yeah, and Will can fill in sort of the gaps here. A lot of this happened when we were about to go on air, which is that Truth has essentially announced that they will be going public in a way. Now, in the way they go public, it evaluates the company at somewhere around $3 billion in essentially a sell. It's a very confusing kind of strategic move, but to really explain it, it's potentially millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, potentially even more, that could then go to President Trump.
Right. So, there could be ways where this is very temporary. These seizures could be temporary, and then he can make good on the bond. We will see what happens. But as of right now, Letitia James, I think by the end of the day, unless something changes between our broadcast and the end of the day, will have seized some Trump properties. Yeah. And by the way, she doesn't just have to seize them in New York. Any Trump property anywhere in the United States. So that would include Florida, Mar-a-Lago, the golf courses there, the Northern Virginia Trump National Los Angeles. I mean, of course, the New York ones are closer and probably worth a lot more money. Doral in Miami. I mean, there's major properties. There's the Trump Hotel in Vegas. You can keep going on and on. Yeah. But we know she's taken the first steps, Logan.
Yeah, and I think her quote was her saying, "I forced Trump into bankruptcy," and that is exactly what it seems like the intention.
Like it. I mean, he says he's got $500 million in the bank. He didn't want to spend that on this.
That's what she wants.
On the campaign.
Oh, yeah. Right. So there was a statement that came out on Truth Social as well.
Through hard work, talent, and luck, I currently have almost $500 million in cash, a substantial amount of which I intended to use in my campaign for president. The often overturned political hack judge on the rigged and corrupt AG case, that's Erdogan, where I have done nothing wrong, knew this, wanted to take it away from me, and that's where and why he came up with the shocking number, which coupled with his crazy interest demands is approximately $454 million. I did nothing wrong except win an election in 2016 that I wasn't expected to win, did even better in 2020, and now lead by a lot in 2024. This is communism in America. So he's saying he's got the cash, didn't want to use it this way. We've got a Truth Social sale, which could bring in $300 million. I don't know how quickly he would receive that when it goes public like that, how quickly he could use it. Yep. But how fast could he get the bolts taken off the door, if you will?
Yeah.
24 hours, 48 hours. But what we know is at some time today, I would think Letitia James is going to want to have a press conference putting the seizure. They want to have the seizure of the building. Secretary Pompeo, I want to go right to you on this. President Trump has a Monday deadline. It's 12:01 a.m. I mean, when the clock strikes 12:01 from Sunday to 12:01 Monday, Letitia James could be out there and begin seizing assets. How do you think, if there's an asset seizure, and there's talk about Trump getting this money together maybe at the last minute, but if it doesn't all get in there by 12:01, and she's out there, putting bolts on, whether it's Trump Tower or she's also named some other places, Seven Springs Estate and Golf Resorts in Westchester County, 40 Trump Wall Street. Is this do you think this is how we're going to see this play out over the next few days? Because the American people, I mean, we really haven't seen anything like this in our modern American political system, where the law enforcement officials are going to take away at the district court level before an appeal is made these huge assets of such successful American business people because they happen to get into politics.
Well, Jordan, I hope it's not the case. Your question, I guess, is that what's going to happen? I hope it's not the case, which I will tell you, she sure looks like that's the path that she is heading down. She will grandstand. But we should all take just a step back. I think it's important to remember how we got here. We saw political charges brought by a political actor, and now they're going to use the force and power, the armed might of the government to take away property from someone who is still litigating a valid claim. This is, to your point, this is unheard of. I think the reaction from the American people will be precisely what we would think it is, which is how outrageous for government to do this. We all knew, Jordan, you and I talked about this a while back. This is how this proceeds, right? In the end, when you go pursue a political adversary and then go find a judge who will rule for you without a proper due process. Right. This is how it happens. And this would be a tragic day for America to see armed government agents in the street seizing assets for a candidate for president of the United States of America.
I mean, it seems like this Secretary Pompeo and almost the question at this point feels a bit rhetorical, but does it feel like with James now starting to seize these assets that we're reaching the point, or we've hit that point of no return in terms of what future political, motivated prosecutions are in this country?
It feels that way. I refuse to believe that America is going to devolve to what we see happen in other countries to political actors, but it is going to take a concerted effort. It's going to take a concerted effort from political leaders, but most importantly from the folks who are watching and listening to your show today, to demand that this is not the model. It can't be the case that this is the course of action that we see taken. This isn't just about this particular instance or about President Trump. This is about government power being used in a way that is deeply antithetical to our republic. And I pray that it's the case that James is that this is aberrant, that this won't become the new normal in the United States. It can't be the case. This is very dangerous stuff.
A lot of you have asked about Truth Social, $300 million sale. Logan, I want you to walk through people real quickly with that.
This is from the New York Times. So this is coming from the New York Times. I'll read you this. Former President Trump's social media company on Friday completed a long-awaited merger with a cash-rich company, raising Mr. Trump's wealth by billions with a B, and potentially providing him a fresh source of cash to his mounting legal bills. That is from just that. That will be more than $300 million into Trump Media, and actually his stake, his personal stake in the company, will be worth over $3 billion on paper. So that alone could change everything if it can be done fast enough. But that should tell you something here when you're talking about the business structure of this guy, is the fact that all of a sudden his worth, not even his net worth, his paper worth, will go up by $3 billion with this deal.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, they really don't understand the different ways, because he's not all online, he's not all tech. These are actually, fundamental buildings. Then you've got these companies that you could put up, then they go stock market. So I don't think this is over, Logan, until...
Because now it could be the money is, he gives the money that he has. He says he has cash in hand, according to that Truth Social post. And then guess what? He can replenish that money immediately by selling a certain amount of stock in
Or
Truth.
A little bit of both. You could do 50-50.
Yeah, it's becomes a lot different of a story immediately. And I think that, sure, does this feel like big business stuff that billionaires deal with? Yeah, it frankly is. This is how it works. And whether you like it or not, this is kind of how it works.
This is not how it's supposed to work.
No, but I'm saying is, it feels like a lot of billionaires figure out ways to maintain being billionaires.
Yeah.
Even under extreme scrutiny, because you had people involved, you had business people involved also who know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, and they know what their assets are worth, and their assets are still worth more than what she's claiming. Remember, this is a judge who said that Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 billion.
Yep.
$18 billion.
$500,000.
I mean, it's just insane.
Mar-a-Lago's
when I was on Newsmax, the co-host, Rob Finnerty, said to me, he's like, you and I, if we got every loan we could, I think we get, if Mar-a-Lago was really for sale for $18 million, they'd give it to almost anybody, because it'd be net value of like $200 million. I mean, it's just insanity in New York. I think he has a good chance on appeal. That doesn't mean he'll necessarily get all these buildings back, but he will get money back. And sometimes that's better than the buildings.
If that's the deal, just for the stake alone, he could have 166 Mar-a-Lagos. So if it was $18 million. So